The last video of today will be the pick and ban phase between MVP and SK Telecom, which were played today as well. So I really think that SK Telecom, they made a great draft in this one, and at SK Telecom they were able to win quite convincingly in this game. So let's just take a look at the pick and ban phase. So we have Jace coming out as the first ban from SK Telecom. You don't want to give Jace over to MVP. He's also a really strong poke champion, so I really like the fact that they ban away Jace. And we do know that a lot of Koreans, they like to play that Jace. They have a lot of experience on that guy. Ryze also being banned away. You don't want to give playmaking potential over to someone like Ian, who has shown that he knows how to play that Ryze. Standard bans coming out from MVP already. Basically right now, all that SKT are doing is to target ban some of the members of MVP. Jace is a fairly meta pick, but we also know that ADD knows how to play that guy. Ryze coming out against Ian. Syra is one of Wolf's most played champions, but also a support you don't want to give over, as you have the first pick, but you can only pick one champion and don't want to give a potential 2 strong picks over to MVP. So right now, Huni, he can go for Kha'Zix, he can go for Maokai, you have Varus, you also have Malzahar to go for if you want to. After all the utility characters are open, so if you pick up Malzahar, which you will, you force MVP to pick up Varus at this point. You don't want to give up both Varus and Malzahar, as they, in my opinion, are the strongest bottom side composition. The bottom side duo. And if you give both Varus and Malzahar over, well, then you lose quite a lot. So it's going to be Ashe locked in for Ashe, so that does leave Varus open for the taking for SK Telecom. And MVP, they focus a little bit more on getting Ashe. She's not as good as Varus brings more poke potential with his piercing arrows, and his chain of corruption works really well with the rest of his team as well. So they do get Malzahar on the side of SKT, and Peanut getting his Lee Sin is good enough. You could have gone for Ivern if you wanted to get more utility, but Peanut is a very aggressive jungler, so he wants to go for something that fits his style of play. So in that sense, Lee Sin is good for him. And then obviously the Varus pick coming out, you'd have to go for that. You don't have to go for it at this point, but just getting it is good, because else MVP would have banned it away. Syndra is open for MVP. Not exactly the worst case scenario for SKT. Syndra is still a strong mid laner, but there are picks that can counter her, such as the Katarina from Faker. And after all, it's Faker you're going up against, so you have to get a champion that you are comfortable on, else you will already fall behind against SK Telecom, against all the amounts of pressure and momentum that they can build up. So Syndra is okay for MVP, but SK Telecom, they always have an answer to that. I do like Misfortune being banned out by SK Telecom, because her Make It Rain works really well against Malzahar, as it slows him down. And Malzahar, in order to make him work, he needs to get close to you to use his Void Grasp, and if he cannot do that, well, then he basically loses the thing that makes him a good support. So you have to ban away Misfortune to allow Malzahar to work really well. Now, we also have seen Huni start to play a lot of tanks. Banning away Shen is is one of the strongest supports. Not supports, top laners in the current meta. I'm not quite convinced that he is the second best over Maokai, but he definitely is top 3. So if you ban him away, you do not allow SKT to get even more global power, while you yourself are allowed to get the Maokai, which can work really well with MVP. They're already going for a little bit of a standard teamfight composition with a tank, an early game jungler, a strong bottom side AD carry, and a strong mid lane as well. But SK Telecom, they can respond with a mid laner that can roam. Talia is still open for the taking. You also need to get a top laner. Corki is also open. Okay, so that's actually really smart, considering the fact that Varus is open. Getting Corki for yourself gives you more poke potential, which you can definitely use on the side of SK Telecom. And Corki also is a fairly strong early to mid game AD carry that works with someone like Lee Sin. Okay, so gangplank is not something that we see very often. That's interesting. So Huni going on to the gangplank. So I talked about global power with Shen, right? You have the cannon barrage coming out from gangplank, which is basically also global power for SK Telecom to work with, especially due to the fact that they have basically a strong mid laner in terms of burst. They have a strong bottom lane, and they have Peanut on one of his signature champions of Lee Sin. So getting that cannon barrage can make a lot of work. And then MVP, all they have left to do is pick up a support, and really all that is left as good supports are Tom Kench, Cillian, Bart, Braum. Okay, so they don't want to send Syndra into the mid lane against Corgi. Going for Cassiopeia instead. So Cassiopeia as a mid laner is fine, and she will be able to put some burst back to Bang. Sorry, not onto Bang, onto Faker. If he Valkyries in, or he uses his Phosphorus Bomb to go onto Ian. I do think that basically it's Ian saying that he does not feel comfortable playing Syndra against Faker on the Corgi. You can get bursted really hard as someone like Syndra, as you don't have a lot of health, and if you miss your stun, then you will be in a lot of trouble against someone like Corgi. So it's basically Ian saying, hey, I'm more comfortable on Cassiopeia, can you guys let me play her? And then they send Syndra down to the support side instead. And it's not like Syndra is a bad support. She's an okay support. She has a little bit of burst, and she obviously has her E in order to make stuns come out. But I would rather have seen her mid lane just for that team fight potential. Cassiopeia is definitely not as good in my opinion. I do think that Syndra brings more sustained power to the table than Cassiopeia, especially when obviously Ashe can deal quite a lot of damage, but she's not a Varus or a Caitlyn, and she won't have that high she won't have as high a amount of damage that she can deal in team fights as those two picks that I just mentioned. So basically, and I'd say that SK Telecom came out ahead just because of this well-rounded composition where they have poke, they have early game power, whereas MVP, they in the end had to go back to the beginning and get a replacement for Syndra. And it's not bad picks that MVP have, it's fine. SK Telecom, their team composition just works better together as a team. They have more synergy, the champions in themselves, and they are glued together better. And that is also why SK Telecom ended up winning this game. Worked better for them in the early game. MVP focused a little bit more on the later stages of the mid game to late game, and didn't work out for them. So thank you for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm looking to do a little bit more LCK videos in the future, so hopefully this will be the start of it. So remember, you can find me on Twitter and Facebook, and you can subscribe to me here on YouTube to see even more videos to come out. And I'll see you in the future.